Hello my lovely book friends and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking, discussing, yapping about one of my most recent reads, Happy Place by Emily Henry. So if you can tell, we are in a very cozy nighttime setting because quite literally, I just want to talk to y'all about it. Like I just want to get my thoughts out there and just kind of like figure some things out for myself as well. Like, I don't know. I'm just like a cross between disappointed and relieved with this book and I just want to process it. So that's what we're doing tonight. Because quite literally, I was like, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. I would have read it 24 hours. I would have finished it 24 hours ago. That was a quick read for me. I had the audiobook. I do not have the physical. On my Libby app, it became available a lot quicker than I thought it would be. And also, I think I was on the wait list for that for a very long time and just kind of lost track of time even. So two things. I think for one, I just kind of forgot that it was on my like waiting list and it became available. And two, I just kind of was thrown off because it's October and, you know, I'm trying to read like all my thrillers. Well, not all my thrillers, but like lots of thrillers and stuff this month. So I was just like, well, this doesn't fit the vibe of spooky season, but it seemed like a pretty quick and easy read. I know Emily Henry is one of those where you can just kind of fly through her books. Therefore, I was like, let's give it a whirl. So if you don't know what Happy Place by Emily Henry is, it's a book that centers around this friend group of 6, right? And more specifically, our main female and main male characters are once upon a time like the ultimate couple, if you will, in this friend group, right? They are like the it couple in the friend group, like the one that was destined to last forever, the one where it was like we all knew you would end up together type situation. And so anyways, this friend group goes on this yearly trip to I don't want to call it a cottage because it's bigger, like to this vacation home that one of the friends' dad owns. And this particular year is going to be their last year going to set house because the dad is going to be selling the property. So this is no longer going to be like their place that they get to land and crash for their yearly vacation. Now it started off just being the 3 girls, the 3 best friends, but as you know, they each, you know, found their partner and, you know, the friend group kind of grew with their significant others. It became the 6 of them and the 6 have gelled really well. And the 2 boys, because one of the girls, she's with another woman. So the 2 boys are best friends as well. And so it's just like all these different dynamics. But nonetheless, the point is this is the last year of this yearly tradition that they've been doing for, I believe, like well over a decade, because they would have been in undergrad and they would have survived all the undergrad years. And this is like long post college, right? So anyways, it's a week-long vacation. This happens every single year. And particularly this year, going into the vacation, the couple, Wynn and Harriet, have not yet told their best friends that they are calling off their engagement. So they're going into this completely blind. Now, backtrack. Actually, let me backtrack just a little bit more. Harriet doesn't even know when it's going to be there because she thinks that it's going to be the 3 girls for this trip, not all 6 of them. Though it's been the 6 of them before, she was expecting it to either be the 3 of them or like, you know, just that. So, you know, she had not yet told her best friends about calling off the engagement. She shows up, she gets into the place and she sees her ex-fiance Wynn there and she's just like, what the heck? So then they're kind of trapped together for a whole week, having to kind of pretend that they're still engaged. And the reason they have to pretend they're engaged is because there's just no good time to just break the news to the team that like the band's splitting up. Yeah, it just got really, really awkward real quick. So they have to like fake their engagement over the course of the week. And they do that just so that they don't have to feel like they're ruining the trip for everyone else. Because again, they were like the it couple, the golden couple. They were like the standard, if you will, for the friend group of like what love looks like, what romance looks like, what soulmate looks like. Therefore, they just feel really bad about like coming onto this trip, especially the older that they're all getting. Like, you guys know this with your own friends in adulthood, like adulthood presents so many challenges with maintaining friendships. And so like, it's just hard because you don't necessarily grow apart like the bond, but like time and just commitments and busyness just takes over, you know? You don't have as much time, as much free time at that, like you do when you're in college and high school, right? So they're struggling with the fact that like this yearly vacation is more and more special the older they get, because they have less free time to just see each other. They're starting to spread out across the country versus they used to all live together. You know what I mean? So they just felt like this is so important to not ruin their very last annual trip to this very special happy place. And so they fake the engagement. So that's pretty much the gist of the book. Like they fake their engagement for a whole week so that they don't ruin their friend's vacation. On top of the fact that one of the best friends drops a bomb on them that while they're there, she and her partner are going to get married at the end of the week. And she wanted to do it in a way where it's just the six of them, like the OGs, and really short, sweet, intimate, at a place that is her happy place as well, right? So this house symbolizes said happy place in the book. Now, I liked the book, okay? Like, I think y'all remember I dang near slandered Beach Read, okay? I was not feeling that book whatsoever. Beach Read by Emily Henry. And I don't know how I feel about this at all. I'm not here to slander Happy Place. I'm a little just kind of like, what? And I don't know if it's just a personal thing. I'm not sure. And that's mainly why we're going to read some other reviews, because I'm just curious to know what are other people's thoughts and opinions about this book. Typically, I don't read other, like by the time I'm done with a book, I post my rating just so that I can keep track of it and it can just generate my averages on Storygraph, and then I'm good. I don't typically read reviews on Storygraph, like ever. Here's what I did like about the book. I did like the banter a lot better in this book. Now, I have always heard Emily Henry is good with banter in a book, and I believe it because I saw the vision in Beach Read, and I actually did like some of the banter in Beach Read. Like there were moments where I was like, this is actually really funny. But I like the banter even more in this book. Like I love the interaction with the friends. I especially love the interaction with the girls, specifically like the three girls. Well, maybe not love, but rather like I enjoyed listening to their conversations. It felt very natural. And I think the narrator of the audiobook did a very good job of really portraying what I think Emily's goal was. And that was to keep it really natural, really lighthearted, very summer ready feeling. And very, you can tell these girls have a relationship, right? Like they have been friends for a long time. They've been through it with each other. Like you can feel that through the banter. And I think that's very clever. And that's something I want to give her so much praise for in this book. I felt more connected to the characters in this book than I did in Beach Read because of the conversational flow of the girls, of the six of them, whoever was around. I loved the conversation. I loved the banter. What I know about myself when reading a book is that I love a good friendship. I love seeing good friendships. I love when there's themes of friendship, whether it's like forgiveness, whether it's just girlhood, womanhood, like, I don't know. I love friendship in a book. Like I love when that's a main theme, a main topic in a book. Like I will say, like, going back to Kennedy Ryan, I will be comparing this book, not literally comparing, but like I will be kind of referencing this book. I'll put right here if you guys are not familiar with the book, but I'm pretty sure you are, is that the theme of friendship is so, actually, I take it back. Not only was it in this book, it was also in this book as well, the second book in the series. And more so the second one than the third one, but let me explain why I'm mentioning both. In the third book, when Hendrix is really carrying the weight of the world on her own shoulders and she has a hard time communicating with her friends, like when she's the one that needs help because she's always the one that's coming to everyone else's aid, her friends were able to pick up on where she was falling back on some things and they were able to pour into her, right? It didn't always have to be she had to communicate per se. They were just so bonded so well that they knew something was off with their friends, so they stepped in. Does that make sense? Now going backwards to the second book in the series, which is Soledad's story. Soledad's story is really about finding yourself, right? But the theme of friendship is real heavy in that book as well, because with Soledad, she really relied heavily on her two best friends to help her through her divorce, through raising the teen girls, because two of the three have teen girls, like they're best friends too. But nonetheless, like she really leaned into those friendships for support, and that was such a main driving force of the books. All three of them, the friendship is a main driving force because each book breaks down each woman, right? So like, yes, like friendship is in the whole series, but I do like how in Soledad's story and in Hendrix's story, we really see different versions of how their friendship and how tight they are and how healthy their friendship is even. And it's not to say they didn't have their little riffs and moments, but like the friendship was so healthy and just so pure that their story was more based on how it looks to just have healthy friendship and to know that you can rely on your friends. And even if they can't solve all your problems, they can at least be there to support you, right? They can just stand next to you. They can be the shoulder you cry on, so forth and so forth. That's one thing I loved about, that's honestly one of the main things I loved about the Skyland series. Like, yes, it's a romance series and I get that. And that was also beautiful in its own way. But like the friendship, like topic matter, it was a driving force in why I love the Skyland series so much. So upon realizing that this book was going to center around 6 friends, I was very curious to see how the friendship dynamics were going to go and if it would make me love this book a lot. And let me tell you something, it did not. And again, not to compare Kennedy Ryan to Emily Henry in any kind of a way to like pit them both against each other the way people like to do Beyonce and Taylor Swift, which we're not gonna go there. What I don't like is that, and maybe it was deliberate, I'm pretty sure it was deliberate, but what I personally didn't enjoy about this book is the lack of communication these friends have, right? The lack of ability to be honest and open and transparent. Like, I get it, because even in real life, amongst adult friendships, there are moments where you don't know how to verbalize what you need. There are moments where you don't know how to verbalize what's going on. And let's be so for real, we've all been in positions where we've kind of struggled alone on some battles all by ourselves, and then we told people about it afterwards. Whether it's just for privacy reasons, for vulnerability reasons, whatever's the case, we find ourselves in similar predicaments that these friends go through, in that sometimes you just are not the best communicator in a friendship, right? And that can be detrimental, for lack of a better word, to the friendship. However, I just feel like the miscommunication amongst everyone was a little OD. I ain't gonna lie to you. Again, it happens. You know, sometimes we just want to figure it out on our own, and we really just don't want to get people involved. But like the miscommunication in this book was just so OD. Like, you don't want to tell your best friends the reasons that you guys are like, they are this friendship dynamic, like this group is the reason this golden couple were even together in the first place, and y'all are trying to hide. And like, it just felt a little silly to me that like y'all had gone that long, because it had been like 5 months since they broke off the engagement. They never told their best friends, and now they're forced to keep up an act. And I get it, like considering like they got ambushed as soon as they came in about like they didn't know that Sabrina and I forget her partner's name were getting married. So like, yeah, you don't want to change the vibe of, I get it, but it's also like that was the point of like communication. You feel me? And so like they were just like, it's gonna ruin our friendship circle. It's gonna ruin it. And we can't tell them. And it's like, is your friendship circle that fragile that you think y'all's engagement is going to ruin the whole circle? Like, isn't it the core where it's the 3 girls? Why is a man gonna ruin that? And like, I don't know. It just seemed a little weird. And I get it because like Sabrina's fiance and Wynn, dang it, I cannot remember the man's name right now. But Sabrina's fiance and Wynn are like best friends, right? So, okay. And then the girls are best friends. And then Cleo's partner, Kimmy, comes into the scene when Cleo and Kimmy start dating. But the point is, to a degree, like, I just don't get it. Like, I feel like if everyone's truly as close as they say they are, like, though they are the golden couple, that was subjective and that was a pressure that they didn't ask for, and they should have been comfortable enough with their friends to tell them that they're breaking off the engagement because things are just simply aren't working out. Like, yes, okay, maybe all the years of like undergrad and right after college, everyone was like hyping them up. Okay, cool, but like it didn't work. Like, be honest about it. Like, 5 months since you broke up the engagement and you didn't tell your best friends if my best friends broke off their engagement with their partners and didn't tell me for half a year almost, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be pissed. What do you mean? Maybe a few weeks I can understand, and you know, because there's a grieving process to these things. Like, I think we all forget that like when you have a breakup of any sorts, typically there's a grieving factor with it. So an engagement, yeah, that's tough. Okay, especially when it was just like so preached to you that y'all are the it couple, y'all are gonna last forever. I can see how that could be so hard to now know that your reality is no longer that, right? Like, I get it, but 5 months to me is OD. I don't care if you're across the country, pick up the phone and tell me. Like, I just can't imagine a world where any of my best friends would tell me that they broke off an engagement with their partner 5 months later. We're not best friends then. I'm sorry. Like, to me, and maybe that's problematic of me, like, this is just me like yapping to y'all, okay? But 5 months to me is nuts. I'm sorry. Like, for 5 months, I'm sitting here thinking y'all are still engaged. Why? Like, why did you not feel comfortable enough to tell your best friends? I think that's the other thing. It's like, you didn't even feel comfortable enough telling your closest people, the people that are like going to clearly stand right by your side, that this is going on. So it made me question the entire integrity of their friendship. Like, how fragile is this? Like, they keep talking about how, like, oh, you know, it's always been us. This has always been my happy place. We have so many memories here. That's great and cool, but it seems kind of fragile to me if you don't feel the need to tell your besties about breaking off an engagement. Like, I'm sorry. Let me just tell you guys, specifically when it comes to Harriet and Wynn's communication, I hated it. Like, I could not stand it, because I do think it's very realistic to kind of see what miscommunication looks like amongst friends and relationships in a book, because that's real life, right? Like, we encounter miscommunication on a daily, okay, with people. But again, to me, it was OD. I'm sorry. Because if y'all are supposed to be again, it boils down to, if y'all are supposed to be as in tune as y'all say you are, attuned as you say you are, y'all are having some major issues that make me question everything, okay? Like, how are y'all supposed to have been this close? Like, even with them, they always said, like, they were best friends first. Okay, well then, why on earth, Wynn, were you unable to tell your fiance that you were depressed after your dad's death? Like, why weren't you able to communicate that to her? And Harriet, why were you never able to communicate where you felt like you weren't enough for him, or like you couldn't help him, like you felt helpless? Like, she was taking the approach of, well, I don't want to make things worse, I won't say anything. And he was taking the approach of, I don't know what's really going on, I can't verbalize, I can't understand, therefore I don't have the words and tools to say, so I'ma just I'm going to push away. And it's just like, maybe, I don't know, guys. It just felt to me where it was a little OD. Like, maybe some things not telling each other because you weren't sure how to communicate it, realistic to a relationship, yes. But these are major things that they withheld from each other. And then to break off the whole engagement, Wynn broke it off, by the way. To break off the whole engagement, and Harriet was just so confused, sad, brokenhearted, and Wynn was confused, sad, brokenhearted. But the way it went about was based off of complete miscommunication. It's just like, y'all broke off an entire engagement because y'all didn't want to talk. Again, I know it happens in real life, guys, but it's just something about reading it. I'm just like, please grow up. No offense if you ever been in this position, by the way. Just my thoughts and opinions, guys. Please don't come for me. And then, like, there was a falling out between the girls, or amongst the girls, rather, and throughout the book, you could see it coming. So, like, me saying that is not spoiling anything at all. Any cognizant reader is going to see what's up ahead with this blowout that the girls end up having. And it's like, there's these moments where, like, Sabrina's being like super passive aggressive to Cleo about the fact that like Cleo had to cancel coming to visit Sabrina. Like, I guess some months prior before the trip, like, I guess Cleo was supposed to come up, visit Sabrina, and she had to cancel, and Sabrina got really, really upset about it, and she's just been super passive aggressive about it. And so it's just, again, one of those things where it's like, y'all are supposed to be best friends. And you're making all these sly comments, and then Harriet always feels the need to like step in and play peacemaker. So no one's really addressing any problems because she's always trying to dissolve, you know, any tension. She's just like, okay guys, okay, settle down, you know, let's not make snippy comments towards each other. And it's just like, no, actually you're brushing it under the rug. Like, clearly there's an issue, talk about it. Y'all are supposed to be best friends. And I will say that speaks to a personal pet peeve of mine. Like, I can't stand when people say they're close to me and won't, like, be honest, you know? In the sense of, like, this got personal real quick. Like, I just feel as though I have to backtrack a little bit on how close we are if I find out that, like, you were feeling anything that I could have, like, helped, like, fix sooner had you opened your mouth, but you chose not to, and you were just like, well, I just feel like you should have XYZ, or I don't feel like you were really this. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Not a perfect friend, not a perfect person. You could have told me how you felt so that I can be a better friend and show up more, you know? Like, I'm not perfect. And even when it seems like it should be right in front of your face, sometimes people just have a lot going on, you know? And I don't think it's fair to give people like that, well, they should have known how I felt speech. You don't know what's going on fully ever with what's going on in someone's head. You know, that's just kind of how I feel. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, for me personally, that's my biggest pet peeve sometimes with people, is how they choose to say, well, you should have known. You also could have opened your mouth. And that's how I felt about this book. It's like, Sabrina, stop being so snarky with Cleo. Like, that's supposed to be one of your best friends. Like, please just talk to her about what's going on. You know, like, have a conversation. If you guys are supposed to be best girlfriends, you guys have been through enough, you would think, to feel comfortable, like, resolving any issues so that you guys maintain this friendship. Because on the one hand, Sabrina's, like, upset about the fact that Cleo didn't come to visit her, but then she's also crying about how, like, life is changing and they're becoming adults, which, I'm sorry, it's been what, 10 years post-undergrad? You've been an adult. But anyways, and she's like really sad about like how the dynamics are changing because, you know, they're now across the country and pursuing their careers and things are changing, right? Like, now we're talking about marriage and family building. Like, that's a huge shift from what they started with when they first became friends, right? So I get that she's grieving and sad, but it's also at the same time, like, Sabrina, if you're so worried about the quality and the bond, work to make sure it stays intact. Don't sit here and make snippy comments to Cleo and then also cry about being worried about losing your best friends. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. There were just so many moments in this book where the miscommunication simply did not make a lick of sense to me. I was just like, girl, be so for real. So with all that being said, friends, I now want to go on Storygraph and I want to see what other people have to say about this book. So it looks like on Storygraph there are, wait, I'm so confused, hold on. So there's almost 180,000 reviews on here and the average rating for this book is a 4.06. Whew, okay, clearly we're not gonna read all those reviews. We're just gonna scroll and read a couple of them because I'm very curious. So this one is a 2-star review and it says, I can see why people like this book, but I just couldn't get into it. The first 3/4 was a snooze fest and I didn't really vibe with any of the characters. The ending was a very sweet, full circle moment and helped boost my rating. Otherwise, I would have given it a 1 star. That's crazy that it boosted it to a 2. Valid. I mean, what sucks is I wish we got more of the characters. Like I said earlier, the banter was fantastic, but like, I wish I knew more about them, you know? Like, I understand this was a quick summertime. It's a week on vacation, like, okay. But like, the characters have so much promise. Like, there's so much to their backstories that like you will never know about, right? Because it's like, we're reading about all them gathering for their yearly vacation and you know, you have these flashbacks of the past, but it's like just their good times together as a friend group. Like, you don't really get to see a whole lot of who they are as individuals. I think the most you see honestly comes from Wynn, you know, his background and kind of some things he dealt with in his life. But other than that, like, and Harriet too, I do believe, but I think the most we learn about a character is Wynn. But I mean, the weirdest thing is I loved the characters in this book. I loved what they could have been. You know, I just wish I knew more about them to love them even more, because the 6 of them Emily gave us 6 wonderful characters despite all of their flaws and despite that nobody can communicate up in here beyond an 18-year-old level, but they seem like they have so much promise, you know, and I wish we had more opportunity to know more about them as people. But let's move on. All right, this person gave it a 3.75. Didn't give any detail. This one has a spoiler in it, so we're gonna skip that one. Someone said did not finish, stopped at 52%. Bad. Okay. Someone gave this a 5 stars. Oh! Wait, so did they go back and change it to a 4.5? I think that's what that means. I think they went back and changed it to a 4.5. They docked off a half star. It says, this was the first book by Emily Henry that I have read and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It took me about 50 pages to get pulled in, but then I barely wanted to put it down. I really loved the characters, their backstories, their relationships, but also felt like the settings in this book were almost like characters themselves. The author's vivid descriptions of each place really made me feel like I was there too. My favorite one was the summer cottage in Maine, so much so that Maine is now on my travel bucket list. While I was reading the book, I was listening to the audiobook narrated by Julie Whelan, who gave each character a distinctive and perfect voice, which made it a wonderful reading experience. Overall, I really enjoyed this story and am looking forward to my next book by Emily Henry, which I think will be Book Lovers. I also want to read Book Lovers just to say I did it. Like, what's crazy is I want to keep reading Emily Henry because I want to get an understanding, because I'm just like, surely it's just me, okay? Surely it's just me. And again, I'm not necessarily miserable reading her books, so I don't mind giving them more chances because I know each of her stories have given her or have gotten different reactions from people that I know have really solid like opinions on books. So I want to read Book Lovers and see how we feel about that later. I will say I agree about the descriptions. Emily Henry, she did this in Beach Read too. She's very good at giving you descriptions of the settings, of the characters, all of those things. And what's interesting is, like I just said, the backstories, I think Wynne and Harriet's we learned the most about, but there's 6 characters total in this book. And I understand the center point is around Harriet and Wynne, but it's just like the other 4 play such major roles in their lives that it would have made more sense, I feel like, to give them their own moments to learn more about their backstories. Like, it was very glossed over, and I didn't appreciate that at all. This other person said, did not finish at 52%. I thought it was kind of boring and I didn't like the time jumping. I actually appreciated the time jumping because it helped us to see like why this place is so nostalgic to them, you know, like it made perfect sense. So I actually really I liked when we did the time hopping, but I like time hopping in books as long as it's done well and like, you know where you're at in a book. Sometimes they just like jump it back in time and you're just like, whoa, you could have warned me. But I do think that doing the retrospection was very good to understand why this place has so much meaning to these people. Again, we learned the backstory of the place. We didn't really learn backstories of the people, if that makes sense. Maybe that's the point, because the story is called Happy Place. I don't know. This person gave it a 4-star. Reread update. Doc did a star, but still love it. I would like to thank the public library for my hold on this book coming in at the perfect time, and I would like to thank Emily Henry for writing such a delightfully easy read. I wonder what made them dock a star. I've always told y'all this. Timing matters, okay? Timing absolutely matters. When you read a book, definitely influences how you're gonna feel about it. Okay, this review doesn't have, this review has no stars to it, but it says, communication, guys, please communicate for the love of God. What'd I tell y'all? Talk it out. Y'all were together for 8 years. What happened? So just because you broke up, you need to bottle up all your feelings and emotions now? I need to speak with you. So did I think 5 months ago. It's too late to talk. It's too late for him to ask if I'm happy or how my residency's going or whether I'm dating the man he pinned our breakup on. Say it then. Let him know it right in his face. Let him understand you. Let him know what you're thinking. What do you want? More problems? More misunderstandings? They said it, not me. This person gave it a 3.75. Okay, they didn't really give me much there. Another 3.75. A lot of these that aren't giving like explanation are giving it like a 3. So this one's like a 3.75, 3.5, another 3.5. This one's a 5-star here. This person said, who rated it a 3-star, I'm really not trying to be different, but what WTF was that and why does everyone love it? That's kind of, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but like, dang. This one is a 3.75. It says a very predictable, comforting romance is the kind of book that you like while reading it, but that will not linger in your memory beyond a day or two. A light, easy read that would make a perfect beach read. Yes and no for me personally. I totally agree. This is like a perfect beach read. I would totally, just like Beach Read itself, the book, I would recommend this to all of my romance girlies that are about to go on vacation. They're about to get on a flight. It's summertime. They're headed to vacation. I'm 100% telling them to go get Happy Place, take that with them, and go read it on the beach. 100% I'm going to recommend that. However, maybe it's because I have so many thoughts about this book. And in general, like, I'm pretty good at remembering some major moments in a book. This one will stick out in my head. And I think it's because I have such complex thoughts about it. But like, I wouldn't call them, I know she's not necessarily saying that they are forgettable, but like, I will always think about this group of 6 of them. You know, I just wish I knew more about them. I'm never gonna forget them. Like, they were, to me, so unforgettable because I wanted more of them. Does that make sense? Okay, this next person gave it a 3. Okay, this person gave it a 5-star and said, this book made me cry and feel like my heart was breaking with Harriet. I think this might be a reread eventually. Also, Sabrina was horrible the entire time and was so spoiled and entitled. I mean, I don't want to go as far as calling Sabrina horrible, but there were a lot of times where I'm like, Sabrina and I would never be friends because I would have to shake her and be like, be so for real. In the sense of like, a lot of her emotions when you read the book are valid. Like, she has a lot going on and has always had a lot going on. And I think she, to agree, has always felt a little abandoned and just kind of like sidelined, if you will, for lack of better words. So like, I do think it's a lot of pent up emotion with Sabrina that she's not sure, she doesn't really know how to healthily, in a healthy way, I guess, deal with, but it doesn't justify some of the things she does say and some of her actions as well. So like, both and can be true. I really do think that she is spoiled, but I do think that a lot of that snarkiness that we saw with Sabrina and some of that like, just like passive aggressiveness came from like a really, really deeply hurted place. And it doesn't make it right, like I said, but I do think it's worth taking the time to say, I can see where it's rooted in, you know, maybe not necessarily I agree with how you handle things, but I can see what that is rooted in. All right, another 3.5 stars. This person gave it a 4.5 and said, this book was simply delightful. It's much better than Beach Read. Agreed. So if you're tossing between the two, pick this one. Agreed. I inhaled the story over the course of 2 days and found it tremendously relatable and not in a pandering millennial way. Light, breezy, easy read. It is a very easy read. I will 100% agree on that one. 2-star, despite being read by narrator extraordinaire Julia Whelan, I hope I'm saying her last name correctly, whom I absolutely adore, I had to DNF at 53%. Why is everyone DNFing it right at 52 and 53? It's crazy. I don't even remember what happened at that point. Even she could not save it for me. I found the characters simultaneously boring, flat, and annoying. My least favorite of Emily Henry's books. Wow. This is their least favorite. Interesting. 5-star, 4-star, 4-star. Okay, 4.25, 3.5, 4.0, 4.0, 4.5, 5. Here's a 5-er. That's a very long review. We're not going to read it. 4, 3.75. Oop. This is a 1-star and it says, no offense, but are you guys lying? That's nuts. This is a 4-star and it says, found family, second chances, relationships that change and grow, finding home, figuring out that what you want and who you are is important. This book had me hooked with its realistic friendships and belonging and its realistic portrayal of how life moves on and people change. I loved it. It was beautiful. A perfect holiday read. Now that second part about realistic friendships and belonging and realistic portrayal of how life moves on and people change, I agree to an extent. For sure, like I literally have already said this to you guys. If you have healthy adult relationships and friendships, you know how it gets when it's the ones that you've had since you were like, whether you were children, teens, high school, college, any of those areas of your life, going into adulthood, maintaining those friendships is hard. Proximity is so key. And when you don't have that proximity, sometimes it is just so hard. It's so hard. And so like, it is realistic for Sabrina and Cleo and Harriet to feel sad and to be super excited to get to hang out again, because it's just like, life gets harder the older you get, right? Like, adulting is rough out here. And so like, to be able to still get that chance to do one thing that has been a constant and a grounding for their lives for years, I too would just be so overwhelmed with joy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is truly agreed upon. But I think where I personally don't agree, and maybe this is just how I've lived my life, and I can definitely say that my own personal life experiences do influence how I view some of these books. But I will say that to a degree, the friendship part, like being realistic, is halfway true. I think if you have healthy friendships, though, some of the problems that the girls and even the six of them encountered would not have happened, you know? And I'm not saying that their friendships were toxic or anything like that. I'm just saying I think it was a bit fragile, you know? Like, if these are truly your besties, some of these things that we're hiding from each other, you wouldn't, I just feel like you wouldn't hide. I don't know. I don't know. But again, I get it. We're all different. And like I already said earlier, there's just some things you do want to keep private. And I totally understand that. But I think an engagement is a bridge too far. Okay. Okay, here's a 4-star review that says, fun and engaging read, loved the dialogue, and I liked the characters, even if they are lacking communication skills. My only qualm is, for real, how are you gonna love a man more than anything on the earth? Get a hobby and kiss a firefly on the nose. And then tell me that some guy is the most important thing ever in your whole life. Still, I rooted for the love, and I love yearning. What was this, Amani? I love yearning, but I wish the FMC had a bit more of a life outside her body. Dang. 1 star, I became increasingly frustrated at the rampant miscommunication trope throughout the whole novel with multiple characters. Everyone in this book needs therapy, although we all need therapy too, so. In Emily Henry's defense, I didn't want to stop reading. And you know that's real, because I wasn't going to DNF it. I was going to see it through. Okay, I was gonna read it, and it was enjoyable enough to finish it. I just didn't love it. So yeah, I wasn't gonna put it down either, but that was funny. That was real funny. I'm sorry it was funny because it's a 1-star rating, but that was funny. And I unfortunately agree. Not perfect, but I liked it. Emily Henry, please never stop churning out books. That's sweet. I really do think that for her to be successful, she's doing something right? Like she's getting to an audience where this stuff lands. And I love that for her, because every author is going to have their audience, right? You got to find your tribe, basically, when you're an author. And even when you're a reader, you got to find your tribe as far as like what authors you enjoy and like what you like in a book and what you need out of a book, right? It should be an enjoyable experience. So just because I may not love the 2 Emily Henry books I read does not mean that she's not a good author, right? There's a reason she's successful. 4-star, just an okay book. My feelings regarding it are just mild. I almost thought it said mid. 2-star, very disappointed. I really enjoyed Book Lovers, and I felt as though Happy Place was a major drop off from that. Maybe I just wasn't able to relate to the story, but I thought that the plot was boring and repetitive. I could see it being repetitive to reflect the complexities of love and all that, but either way, I wasn't invested and felt like a chore, and it felt like a chore to read. I felt no attachment to Harriet or Wynne, and thought that the side characters had little to no purpose besides just hanging around. They also felt forced to be quirky and different. I really want to read Book Lovers for real now, because I would love to compare, because I really want to see my thoughts on Book Lovers, me personally. Because for this to be, I think this is the second review we've come across where someone said Happy Place was not as good as Book Lovers. So I wonder if for me, like, we're getting up there, you know, like with each book it gets better. I wonder, because this is better than Beach Read. What if Book Lovers is better? Ooh. Said she wasn't able to relate to the story too. Yeah, I mean, same. I think that is something that kind of like made this maybe this influenced my thoughts and opinions about the book, is that I couldn't relate to literally anything in this book. Now, not to say I have never had friendship problems or any of the problems in this book. However, I do think the way people in my personal life have handled some of these issues is just way different than the way these friends have handled these issues. So I just couldn't relate to a lot of things. And I honestly don't think the side characters didn't have purpose. I think they had major purpose in this book. I just think they were underdeveloped as far as like we didn't get to know them. But I see how they all played such a major role. It's just there wasn't enough about them, you know, to justify that. But that's truly how I feel. And felt they were forced to be quirky and different. As I've scrolled, I've kind of seen people say that they felt that the side characters were forced to be quirky and different. I didn't really feel like that. Unless my millennial is showing, like, I didn't feel like they were that quirky to even begin with. Again, they were very underdeveloped, so I just don't see where the forced quirkiness could have come in, maybe, possibly. But maybe it was just something I overlooked. I don't know. Let's just read a few more and we're gonna wrap this up, guys. 4-star. Honestly, this was just an okay read for me. I did not love Harriet, but the further along in the story, the more I realized it was because she was hella relatable. I love that Henry tackles some complex ideas of love and sacrifice in this novel, and I do think it was a worthwhile read. But are Win and Harry just boring? I don't know. Henry made Montana sound as beautiful as an episode of Yellowstone, but I was not sold on how groovy the main scene was. I needed more lobsters, apparently. That's just straight up funny. 1 star. I hope to enjoy it, but it was not for me, not my type. After 65% reading, I started to skip till the end. Interesting. 2 star. Honestly, the book was never suitable for me. My taste is never very boring. I feel like that was mad shady. It's the first time I get attached to any character that is not quality in the book. Their personalities are very boring. I felt that there is nothing to make them the best personality. The story of the book is very beautiful, and the end of it was kind of beautiful, not the best thing, but the way of telling the story for me, I don't see it was beautiful. It was boring. I was waiting for the time to finish the book, but I want to close the book and finish it. So far, this is the worst book I read. To me, Emily Henry. All right, that was a little confusing to read, to be honest with you. 5 star. This book reminded me that it is okay to put yourself first and do what makes you happy. First book I read of Emily Henry and thoroughly enjoyed every part of it. It's really good. 5 star. I think all I want in this life is to live inside of an Emily Henry book. That's so sweet. I will say, like, the way she does these settings, yeah, I want to jump into the book too, girl. Just not, don't throw me in with the miscommunication trope. Don't do that. Let's read 2 more. Let's find 2 more to read. I'm just scrolling. Okay, this is a 4.75. It says, I loved the way this book made me feel. It felt realistic and I could actually imagine every feeling and situation and relate to so many moments, and it was amazing. Must read. Okay, let's do the last one. This is a 3 star. It says, I mean, it was fine. I wasn't attached to any of the characters. All the friends annoyed me, and the entire book is written based on a lack of communication. Fair. All right, we're gonna stop reading reviews now because we could be here all night. Overall, I think we can all agree that, or maybe we can't all agree, but as for me, myself, and I liked this book way more than Beach Read. I've said this like 9 times, but it's true. I like this book way more than Beach Read. I'm really interested to read more by her to see what my thoughts and opinions are going to be with other books. And yeah, we're just going to keep moving upwards, I hope, from here. But overall, this was just an opportunity to talk about how I felt about this book. I haven't really sat and talked through my feelings about a book immediately upon reading it, probably since Beach Read, honestly. So yeah, and I knew I was gonna have so much to say and I didn't want to have to say it all in my monthly wrap up. That would be crazy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you guys want to see more videos where I take a book that I've read and read through StoryGraph reviews and just kind of compare and contrast my thoughts with what others are saying, we can do that. This is actually so fun to me and just so interesting to hear other people's opinions. Like I enjoy reading like what other people are thinking about a book, and it's just so crazy to see how like we all read the same pages and had totally different experiences, you know? Like I think that's what's so cool about books. Anyways, this is in no way, shape, form, or fashion to slander Emily Henry or the book. This is just me really talking through my thoughts, my honest opinions, and the fact that like, as we saw in these reviews, some people really love this book and some people absolutely hated this book. Like, it's okay to have your thoughts and opinions, right? But if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please follow me on Bookstagram and Booktok because there will be tons of fun content on there as well. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.